The key to enjoying your life is being present. The key to focusing is being present. The key to feeling like you're valuable and what you do matters is being present. Being present is at the core to a lot of great things, but a lot of people really struggle to stay present because what are you doing? Most people spend most of their time either thinking about the past or thinking about the future, and not even in a positive way. You spend time thinking about the past, living in regret of all the things that you could have done, you could have said, you should have done, you should have said. I wish I did that. I wish that video I made didn't suck. I wish. Why didn't I? And we beat ourselves up. Does that sound familiar? Is that you? Maybe even a little bit. Or we spend our time being anxious about the future. I think as entrepreneurs, we get excited about the future, where we could go and what we could build. And that's the fun daydreaming part. But a lot of thinking about the future is stress inducing. It's anxiety. It's worrying about what could go wrong. All the millions of things that could go wrong that maybe never go wrong, but we're still worried about them, right? Again, does that sound somewhat familiar? When you are stuck living in the past or living in the future, you're never obviously present, but you're not happy. You're not productive. You're not focused. You're not creating. You're not serving. None of it. And you're not fulfilled. I look at people who want to get started on YouTube, for example, or entrepreneurs who are trying to launch their business. And people made maybe one video or two videos, and because it didn't work out, or you made a video and you felt embarrassed by yourself, or you launched a product and somebody had one bad piece of feedback, you're reliving that same negativity over and over and over and over and over again. People ask me, well, what happens when you have a bad video? What happens when your video bombs? I was speaking at Brendan Burchard's Influencer Summit yesterday, and somebody asked me, well, what do you do when a video doesn't take off or do well? Like, well, lots of my videos don't take off and do well. I don't know which ones are going to blow up. The ones that have blown up surprise me. Like, that's the one that blew up. I love this one so much more. How do I keep going? Because I'm looking to the next one. Like I'm worried. I'm working on videos now. I don't know what I released yesterday or the day before or the day before, because I'm making new content. Think about how you got over a relationship. Well, when you get into a new relationship, it's easy to forget about your last relationship. It's thinking about what you're doing now. And if you have nothing right now, what do you do? If there's nothing to do right now, you spend your time in regret about the past or worried about the future. It's not enough action happening right now. I don't care about videos that failed in the past because I'm going to be making tons more. Another one comes out today and another one tomorrow, and it's a moment to reflect and say, hey, okay, I could have done better on that one, or why didn't this one do well? Okay, this moment here, that sucked, perfect. I'm making one today, I'll make it better. At least that's the intent. Maybe I don't achieve it, but that's the intent, and if you show up with that intent every day, you will eventually make it better. Most people get too caught up on the mistakes that they made in the past. It's in the past. You did the best you could with what you've got. Remind yourself of that. You did the best you could with what you had. Great. Don't be so hard on yourself. Keep making. Because the worst thing you can do is quit now. The worst thing you can do is stop now. Because when you look back on your life when you're 120, that you'll regret that you stopped. You regret that you had a chance, you had a moment. You could have done something and you didn't. Like, that's the biggest regret of all. Not taking any kind of action, not the mistakes that you made. We don't regret really the things that we did. Most of the things that people regret are the things they did not do. Most people's biggest regrets are not taking enough action. Letting that little man voice inside their head tell them all the reasons why they weren't going to win. Convincing themselves that they weren't capable. And as a result, they stopped when they wished they had the courage, the strength, the tenacity to keep going. Right? That could be you. You could get going. You keep going. You could stay present. You could make the next thing. And at the same time, a lot of people are then also worried about the future. Well, what if I make this and it doesn't work out? I was talking to people again yesterday about their YouTube channels, and the same person asked me, well, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if I make videos and nobody sees them? So what if nobody sees my videos? And then the next question was, well, what if people see my videos and they don't like me? So this person at the same time is afraid of people not seeing their videos and people seeing their videos. How does that make any sense? Right? This is the loop that we get stuck in. You're afraid of people not seeing you and you're afraid of people seeing you. You can't win. The mental dialogue we have with ourselves, we can't win. It's not possible. We need to start to flip that. We need to rewire ourselves. And that starts again with being present. Like, you can't control what the outcome is going to be in the future, but you can control what you're doing right now. If you can switch so that you are mostly present, not really thinking about the past unless it's gratitude, right? If you can flip the regret of the past to gratitude, right? And if you can switch the anxiety for the future to excitement or vision, that's when you really start to win. Somebody came to an event that I did in Toronto and asked me, these guys drove up from Boston to do a podcast with me and then stuck around for my event. And they asked me, how much of your time do you spend percentage-wise living in the past, present, future? And I said 0% past, 85% present, 15% future. And the 15% is vision, what I want to create. You know, as entrepreneurs, we have to be a little bit forward thinking, but it's 85% present. I don't even know what day it is. Like, it's present, not even present to today, but present to this moment. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what I'm doing after this. All I know is I'm here right now with you guys. And that allows for focus. That allows for happiness. That allows for purpose. That allows for life to give you so many gifts when you're not stuck living in the past or the future. So how do you do it? How do you get there? I think the best thing you can do is every time you catch yourself drifting, daydreaming, forward or back in a negative way, you catch it. Every time you can catch it, you won't catch it most of the time. So don't put this impossibly high burden on yourself that every time I'm thinking about the past and I'm living in regret, I'm going to catch it and do something about it. You won't catch it. You won't catch it. This is decades of unwiring our brain, right? It's fine. Don't have, when you're starting something new, don't have crazy expectations that you have to get it perfect or you're a failure. Right? This is the problem, not just with this one exercise, but with everything. Don't expect to be great out of the gate. You won't. You're just starting. You're at the beginning. Why do you think you're going to be fantastic? And because the first time it doesn't work out perfectly, then we quit. That is not how it works. Right? You need to expect to suck at the beginning. That's okay. That's how you learn something. Every time you can catch yourself drifting, you're living in the past in regret or future being stressed out, just try to bring it back to right now. Just bring it back to the present and focus on anything. Focus on a physical object. I could focus on my coffee. Like, how can you get present right now? You can focus on the coffee. Wow, look at this coffee cup. You know, it's tall, it's red. I'm grateful for the beverage inside here. I like that they have a sleeve. Ooh, it's got a maple leaf on it, right? Like, this is all, I'm being present right now with the cup of coffee. It is warm. I can feel the sensation on my hands. I can taste it in my mouth, right? Where most of the time, even when you're eating something, you're usually focused on something else, right? You're eating while you're on your phone. You're eating while you're watching a video. You're eating while you're doing something else and not ever actually enjoying the food because we're thinking about what's next. So every time you can catch it, you just try to bring it back to the moment, to right now. And then what's going to happen is the more you do that, the more you'll catch it. So right now, maybe you catch it 1% of the time, but the more you do that and practice that and just pick one thing to focus on that's in your environment, or focus on your breath, right? It's why meditation works so well with a mantra or breath work, because it gives you something to focus on. When you're first starting out with being present and focused, it's helpful to have somewhere to put your attention, because focus on nothing doesn't feel like very practical advice to the beginner trying to figure this out. So you focus on your breath, and anytime your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Every time you get stressed or anxious or worried or what you're going to do next, bring it back to the breath. Every time you get bored, bring it back to the breath. right? The breath could be anything. The breath could be the cup of coffee. Look at the cup of coffee. Feel the cup of coffee. Every time you get distracted, you're worrying about work or your life, back to the cup of coffee, back to your mantra, right? All of that can work. It's just picking something to ground you back in being in the present. And again, the more you catch it and the more you do it, the more you'll catch the next one. And the more you do it again the next time. It's a skill that you learn. You're retraining your brain how to work. And what you'll find is the more you can do that and the more you practice it, bit by bit, day by day, you'll find yourself having less stress, being more productive, staying more focused, caring less about what other people think about you, and overall being happier. And what that does is free you up to actually go and do the work that's inside you, the genius that you've got to put out to the world and serve. Being present is the key to unlocking your happy life. Less time living in regret about the past, less time living in the stress of the future and anxiety for what may come, and more time focused on what can you do right now, today, in this moment, to be proud of yourself and live your best life.
If you want another Evan Rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Make your calendar your life. This is how you start to live an intentional life.